Hello. Thank you for joining the Upgrade for Your Staffing Management with Noble ShiftTrack WFM Fast Start offer. All lines will be placed on mute to prevent any background noise. Thank you. Teresa Gudger, you can begin the webinar.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining our webinar today on Noble ShiftTrack WFM Fast Start offer, as was mentioned. Today presenting is myself, Teresa Gudger. I'm the Director of Cloud Solutions, and Matt Schock is our Solutions Engineer. The agenda for today is to talk about what Noble Fast Start is, to talk about the Noble Fast Start offer, to do an overview of the ShiftTrack WFM, to do a summary, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. So what is Noble Fast Start? Basically, this is a way to get our Noble clients up and running very quickly on one of our other solutions. Specifically today, we're talking about workforce management. How we do that is we offer a canned FDS, which all of you are familiar with. You fill out a questionnaire, and we apply your answers to that FDS. Again, in this case, it would be a WFM FDS. The training is on our basic workforce management tools in a predefined format. The WFM tools will be at your fingertips promptly, so you can start reaping the benefits for your organization at special pricing. That's the second part of the Fast Start. So the first part of the Fast Start is canned FDS and training, and the second part is the special pricing. As part of this offer, we do an integration with WFM and the Noble Unified Communication Solutions that you guys have today. We have targeted functionality with this offer so that, again, we'll have a quick deployment, and we'll have great pricing. In the actual functionality, you will get the ShiftTrack Plus Workforce Management tools. You'll get ShiftTrack Management Suite, the ShiftTrack Remote for managers and supervisors, real-time adherence, Noble University for the managers, and VPN is an option to implement this in the cloud. Our pricing is around your size and the term of this specific deal. The targeted size is a 25 to 100 seats, and the targeted terms is 1 to 3 years. So your pricing, depending on the number of seats that you have and the number of years that you want to sign up for this Fast Start offer, will determine your pricing. I didn't put pricing out here specifically for you today because it will depend on your size, and your SAM can help finalize that with you. But one of the best pieces of this is in the terms. You can get your professional services down at $10,000 to implement these 100 seats, for an example, with a 3-year term. So again, there's some variables to it, and your SAM can help you, and if they have any questions, they'll work with me. But this is a really good offer to get you guys up and running very quickly with ShiftTrack Workforce Management, so you can start to reap those benefits. Now, Matt's going to do an overview of ShiftTrack, so I'm going to turn that over to him at this point.
Okay. So what we want to do then is take a look at the ShiftTrack product, and I will bring up my version here. Okay, so we're going to do a quick ShiftTrack overview. Now, some of you on this call, it may be a bit redundant. I'm going to talk about, some of the enhancements that we've made and possibly some of the enhancements that we have coming. But what we really want to do is Teresa alluded to earlier, is this is really a Fast Start program to really get you up and running quickly on our ShiftTrack Plus product and be able to allow you guys to realize the benefits of that in a very shortened time period. So the 3 main products that we're going to focus on today, which are the 3 main products that will be part of the package with our Fast Start program, is ShiftTrack Plus, which is that management console, ShiftTrack Real Time, which shows you kind of that real-time adherence. so you can basically see in real time how your agents are adhering to the schedule. Very similar in fashion to the Agent Stations application that many of you are familiar with. And then ShiftTrack Remote. And this is kind of a really nice tool and something that really allows a lot of interaction with your agents. So agents can feel empowered to request changes to their schedule, swap shifts if you allow it. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, and it really creates a greater awareness of some of the issues your agents may be having from a scheduling perspective. All right. So ShiftTrack Plus. ShiftTrack Plus is really, like I said, the main administrative console. This is where you're going to manage all of your personnel data. This is where you do all of your schedule development, all of your simulations of schedules. We can do very, very robust skills-based scheduling, skills-based modeling with regards to the scheduling. We can look at availability management, intraday management. So this is an important tool as well because obviously we're going to forecast and schedule as much as we can to meet the demands of your call center. But obviously, as you all know, things can happen that we can't always account for. So we do have the ability to do intraday and reforecasting. We can do contact forecasting. We can do agent forecasting to see how many agents we're going to need. We can do shift optimization. So basically, we can try to, if you want, optimize those shifts as best we can in order to get you the most cost-effective schedule. We can do things like leave management. So basically managing which agents have a leave and how many agents you're going to allow to take off in a certain time period. Back office optimization. If need be, we can schedule your back office staff. So it's a very useful tool with regards to not just scheduling agents, but if there's managers, supervisors, back office that we need to schedule, we can do that. And then lastly, from a ShiftTrack Plus perspective, one thing I really want to touch on, and I'll go into it in a little bit more detail, is the outbound campaign forecasting. This is a big differentiator for the Noble ShiftTrack product in that majority of the workforce management solutions out there today offer outbound forecasting as sort of an item in an agent's schedule. They don't usually there's no really strategy, there's no really data behind it. So we've actually come up with a solution that allows you to target your outbound work based on a parameter that you want to reach, whether that's right party contacts, whether that's successes or completes. It's really sort of up to you. So some of the products you can see that we can do the forecasting. So we give you a very robust forecasting schedule. You can forecast for multiple skills or queues simultaneously. You can look at the different information here. We can apply shrinkage. We can pool the forecast together. From this tool as well, we can also adjust or trim this forecast based on any different data parameters that you may want to see. So if you haven't gone through a workforce management demo with your sales account manager and SE, I would encourage you to do so because there's a lot more than just the screens that I'm showing you here today. You can look at a roster schedule summary, so you can see very quickly which agents are working which shifts. What this screen doesn't show you is you also have the ability to see what other shifts they could optionally take advantage of. We can do roster optimization. So basically we can look at day by day which agents are working which schedules. And you'll notice at the bottom we can also calculate the cost of that roster. So you can very quickly, after creating a roster or a schedule of agents, see what that roster is going to cost you. And for any of you, those call center managers or directors out there who own the P&L for their call center, this can be an important tool in deciding how you want to go after or what service levels you may or may not want to meet, as well as what target parameters you may or may not want to meet. So this can be an important tool, and we see this used quite often to optimize schedules, optimize breaks and lunches, and also look at the cost of that roster. Intraday monitoring, so I alluded to earlier the fact that we want to be able to reforecast throughout the course of the day if necessary. So everybody knows that you can plan as best as you can, but you can't always account for things happening. You know, a customer service call center can't account for, you know, if let's say, for instance, a bank, they can't account for 3 branches being closed due to weather, which may up your customer service calls. It can't account for, you know, payments being lost and all those things. It can't account for, you know, things happening that you can't account for 50 people calling in sick because, once again, weather or a natural disaster or catastrophe of some sort. So we can account for those things with an intraday tool. The other thing that we have the ability to do is also manage our outbound campaigns. So as I talked about earlier, we approach outbound forecasting differently. Most of the tools out there today will basically say, okay, we're going to insert outbound work during low levels of inbound activity. But what Noble Systems decided to do is say, well, listen, look, we've got a lot of historical call values there. We make a lot of outbound calls. Let's take a look at reaching a target parameter. So what if I want to get 1,000 right party contacts over the course of a day or a week, depending on how you guys want to set it up? And then what is that going to cost me in terms of resources? How am I going to achieve that goal? Or am I even going to be able to achieve that goal with the resources I have available, given the amount of inbound work I have to do? So it's really taking a much different view, a much newer view of how to outbound forecast and outbound schedule. And we're really very proud of this particular portion of it. Quick activity editor. This simply allows you to insert multiple agents into a meeting or training very quickly without having to do it individually for each individual agent. And then ShiftTrack Remote. This is the tool or utility that basically has a web-based schedule viewing. This is where you have web-based availability management, self-service lead bookings, your shift swaps, your agent analytics and KPIs can all be seen through the remote. And as I talked about earlier, this really empowers your agents. Your agents have the ability then to look at their schedules, review their schedules, request changes, request preferences to their schedules as far as when they do and don't want to work. And these are all things that can be taken into consideration. Additionally, it gives you a recorded instance of that happening. So you can see that basically what has happened, who requested what, when, and do they actually have the ability to take that time off. So agents can review their schedule here. They can print their schedule out if you want. They can view what leave is available. So when agents go to actually request time off, you can make rules about how much time can be taken off on individual days or times of the year. And agents can either see that time as available or unavailable. You can display some KPIs or analytics for how an agent's performing, and this could be a combination of data that comes from workforce management as well as data that comes from the Noble Unified Communications platform. So we could combine this data in order to give you an overall outbound look or view of how the agent's performing. And as you can see, this is just one iteration or imagination of the KPIs that someone might want to see as far as agent analytics go. We could do something completely separate for you as part of an ongoing thing. Initially, you're just going to have some good reporting with our Fast Start, but we can do some agent analytics as well. And then ShiftTrack Real-Time. So the kind of the last portion we want to talk about is really the real-time adherence. So all this planning and preparation is obviously an outstanding tool to have and be able to forecast and schedule and see what those costs are going to be. But really, workforce management at the end of the day just really gives you actionable information. How managers or supervisors or administrators or team leaders, whoever, directors, decide to apply that information to their call center is what really gives you the ROI for workforce management. So we can optimize schedules and we can optimize breaks and lunches, but if managers and supervisors aren't making agents adhere to that schedule, at least as best as they can, then you really sort of lose some of the benefit of it. So that's why we have real-time adherence. And this kind of shows you who's adhering to the schedule. So is someone on break when they should be on the phone? Is someone on break too long? Are they paused too long? Have they paused for whatever reason and they shouldn't be paused? Now, there's always going to be some adherence violations. Obviously, people have to go to the restroom or grab a cup of coffee. But if you can make agents adhere to the schedules that you create, that you optimize for, it gives you a much bigger benefit in the end. So I'm going to kind of turn it back over to Teresa to kind of summarize, but just from a ShiftTrack Plus perspective, as you can see, this is a robust platform, and once again, I encourage you, if you haven't had the ability to do a full demo of our workforce management solution, I encourage you to get with your sales account manager and get with your SE and set up a demo as soon as possible.
Thanks, Matt. So in summary, as you can see, there's a wealth of information that's available there. And hold on one second. Should be coming back up. I apologize. All right. As you guys saw, there was a wealth of availability from a tools perspective and a functionality perspective that you guys can gain from this. But with the Fast Start program specifically, you'll be able to take advantage of all that you saw very quickly. Again, that's one of the points to all of the Fast Start programs that we do have. There is special pricing, as I mentioned. It's based on the number of agents and the term of the deal, and this can help you save money to get going very quickly. And most importantly is, getting with your sales account manager and your SE to go through this so we can understand what your requirements are and get those documented in an FCS to get you going. So I think at this point, we're going to open this up for questions. Our organizer is going to work with us on that piece of it. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
Teresa, the lines are muted. So there is a question box within the GoToWebinar if they want to submit any questions in there.
So as our organizer mentioned today, there's a box for you guys to submit the questions, and then we can see them and repeat them and get the answers to you. Well, at this time, I don't see any questions. I'll give it one more second in case people are typing. Okay. Well, at this time, I think that we've covered the Noble ShiftTrack Fast Start program today. Thank you for your attendance, and have a great day. Thank you.